Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let me introduce myself. My name is Elsa Endah Lestari from B1 2020 English Education Study Program. Today, I want to share about a narrative text. I will explain and give an example of narrative text. The general definition of narrative text. Narrative text is a text presents the myths, fables, novels, and other realistic fiction stories used for entertaining the readers. Besides, the moral values can be taken, and the purpose is to tell a story and use past tense. As per the structure of the narrative text is orientation such as time setting, complication of story, a resolution to the complication, and coda which signal the story is ended. A time when you lost someone. One day, I was very happy hearing that I was going to get another brother. I was thinking that I would be very bad to play with younger brother. Every single day, I had imagined that one day I would continue to be my future brothers. All in my family welcomed the news with felt heavy. From the first month to month, I was really overjoyed. Arriving in the seventh month, my mother left to go to the doctor at one of the hospitals in my area. My joy is still burning in the heart. That afternoon, when my mother came home from the hospital, she gave me news that she didn't. It is so good to hear. Yeah, at the gynecologist hospital examined the fetus in my mother's womb, and it turned out that the baby my mother was carrying had a hydrocephalus disease where there was a lot of fluid in his heart, which would make the baby's head a size that was big and uneven with his tiny body. Stricken, of course, but not there. I began searching for the cure for my prospective brother. I asked someone else and I looked on the internet. It was really sad, but I could stop praying that the doctor would miss his estimate and that my younger brother would be normal. When 8th month came, my mother visited the same hospital again, but instead had her referred to another hospital, several hospitals that my mother had visited, arriving at one military hospital, where my mother felt highly valued, so kind a doctor and a pleasant service. When we were examined there, it turned out that the hydrocephalus thought it was a failure, probably the power of prayer or whatever. My unborn baby brother is perfectly normal, and nothing is wrong. My family was so happy to hear the news. By the time I stepped on the 9th month, my mother had begun to feel queasy and was about to give birth, but it turned out that my future baby brother was a breach, not where he was supposed to be. Total panic at the time. My mother was taken to a public hospital in a Bandung town. There, my mother got the best care, and my mother gave birth in a way in the section. Happy it wasn't enough to get there, but it turned out my baby brother had a respiratory problem, so there should be a treatment and a stay at the hospital for 2 weeks from the time of his birth. I was preparing for the high school national exam. My mind was blown, followed by USBN and UNBK with mixed talk. After I finished all my exam and waited for my graduation, I rushed to the hospital to pick up my baby brother. A sense of belonging at home. I am happy, me, to have such a handsome, cute, adorable little brother. because by this time I had begun to feel free. I didn't go to school much. I'd see my baby brother, though my baby brother's condition worsened day by day. I still have to be strong for myself and my family. Until the second month he was born, Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala took him back in the morning. For the first time, my family and I lost someone they truly loved. I cried for several hours at that time by looking at my brother's already rigid body. The waiting was bathed, prayer, and buried. My word was shadowed back then. My sad days are still young, but I always pray for strength. My family is beginning to accept, to be strong and honest. I often visit my baby brother, grab to give him a prayer every day. Remain consistent at this day. And I have heard that if a child dies, then he will be able to help his parent in the next realm. Okay, let's see. For orientation. One day I was very happy hearing that I was going to get another brother. I was thinking that I would be very fat to play with younger brother. For complication, at the gynecologist hospital examined the fetus in my mother's womb, and it turns out that the baby my mother was carrying had a hydrocephalus disease where there was a lot of fluid in his head, which would make the baby's head a size that was big and uneven with his tiny body. And then until the second month he was born, Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala took him back in the morning. For conclusion, my family is beginning to accept, to be strong and honest. I often visit my baby brother, grab to give her a prayer every day. Remain consistent at this day. And the last one, Koda. And I have heard that if a child dies, that he will be able to help his parent in the next realm. That will be all. Thanks for attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.